Vivian Vance, beloved by millions for her unforgettable role as Ethel Mertz on I Love Lucy, was known for her warmth, humor, and charm that lit up every scene she graced. For decades, she brought laughter and joy into the homes of countless fans, becoming a television icon whose talent and charisma seemed larger than life. But behind the laughter and applause, Vivian carried a secret, one she had never shared with anyone, not even those closest to her. For years, speculation and mystery surrounded her personal life, but the truth remained hidden, locked away behind her public persona. In a heartbreaking twist, Vivian chose to reveal this secret to her husband, a deeply personal confession that marked a moment of vulnerability and honesty in her life. It was a decision born out of trust, love, and the desire to finally unburden herself from a truth she had carried silently for so long. Few could have anticipated what would happen next. Just one day after sharing her secret, Vivian Vance's life was tragically cut short, leaving those who loved her and fans around the world in shock. This revelation casts a new light on the life of an actress often remembered only for her comedic brilliance. Vivian was more than a performer. She was a complex, deeply human individual navigating the pressures of fame, personal struggles, and relationships. Her story reminds us that behind the bright lights and smiling faces, real lives are filled with challenges, emotions, and untold stories. What she revealed to her husband was meant to be private, a final act of honesty, but fate intervened in the cruelest way. As we delve into her life, her career, and that final tragic moment, the full story of Vivian Vance emerges, a tale of talent, love, vulnerability, and Vivian Vance's life was a blend of extraordinary talent and quiet resilience. From her earliest days in the theater, she displayed a natural comedic timing and a charm that drew audiences in, earning her roles that would eventually define her career. But while her professional life flourished, her personal life remained a closely guarded realm. Vivian was private, careful about what she revealed and protective of those she loved. Her marriage, friendships, and personal struggles were rarely discussed publicly, giving the world a picture of her that was almost entirely shaped by her work. Yet those who knew her well understood that there was more to Vivian than the laughter she delivered on screen. Her role as Ethel Mertz on I Love Lucy brought her worldwide acclaim, turning her into an icon of television history. Fans adored her for her humor, warmth, and the chemistry she shared with Lucille Ball. But behind the scenes, the pressures of fame were real. Balancing a demanding career with personal life, maintaining privacy in an industry built on exposure, and navigating the dynamics of a high-profile marriage were challenges that few could fully understand. Vivian often carried these burdens quietly, shielding her loved ones from the weight of her worries while maintaining the persona that fans adored. It was within this private sphere that her deepest secret resided, a truth that had been with her for years, shaping decisions, relationships, and her own sense of self. To reveal it required immense courage. In confiding in her husband, Vivian chose honesty over fear, vulnerability over silence. It was a rare and deeply human moment, one that highlighted the complexity of her character beyond the laughter and applause. The decision to share this secret was not made lightly. It was an act of trust, love, and an acknowledgement that the weight of hidden truths can be both isolating and suffocating. Tragically, what followed was unimaginable. Just one day after revealing her secret, Vivian Vance's life came to an unexpected end. The shock rippled through her family, friends, and fans, leaving a void that could never be filled. The abruptness of her passing amplified the heartbreak, making the story of her final days even more poignant. While her career had been celebrated, the personal pain, struggles, and untold truths she carried were now part of the narrative that history would remember. It was a reminder that behind the brightest smiles often lie untold battles, and that even those who bring joy to millions are not immune to life's cruel twists. As we reflect on Vivian Vance's life, it becomes clear that her legacy is more than her iconic television performances. It is also a story of courage, vulnerability, and the human need for connection and honesty. Her decision to share her secret, even at the end of her life, demonstrates a bravery that transcends her work as an entertainer. It shows a side of Vivian that few ever witnessed, one that was deeply personal, profoundly human, and heartbreakingly fragile. Her story reminds us that the people we admire on screen have lives beyond the cameras, lives filled with complexities, emotions, and truths that shape them in ways we may never fully understand. Break that fans will never forget. Vivian Vance's private life was marked by both love and struggle, a contrast to the joyful persona she portrayed on screen. Her marriage, while a source of companionship and support, was not without its complexities. Balancing personal desires with professional obligations is difficult under ordinary circumstances, but for Vivian, the stakes were higher. The constant attention of fans, the pressure to maintain a flawless public image, and the demanding schedule of a television career created a world where every choice carried weight. Even within the safety of her home, Vivian had to navigate the delicate balance between honesty and discretion, between sharing enough to maintain connection and protecting herself from vulnerability. The secret she carried was deeply personal, something that had shaped her life in ways invisible to the public eye. For years it influenced her decisions, guided her interactions, and lingered quietly beneath her cheerful demeanor. Revealing it to her husband was an act of immense courage, a gesture of trust that spoke to the depth of their relationship. In doing so, Vivian sought not only to unburden herself, but also to share an essential truth with the one person she trusted most. It was a profound reminder that even those who appear most joyful or composed on the outside can harbor struggles and truths that remain hidden for decades. Her passing just one day later magnified the tragedy. The suddenness of her death left those closest to her in shock, grappling with grief and the stark reality of loss. Friends and family were forced to confront not only the heartbreak of her absence, but also the weight of the secret she had finally shared. It was a cruel intersection of timing and fate, highlighting the fragility of life and the unpredictable nature of human existence. The story of Vivian's final days became a powerful testament to both the courage it takes to be honest and the deep sadness that life can sometimes bring when moments are cut short. Despite the heartbreak, Vivian's legacy endures. Her work on I Love Lucy remains iconic, a source of laughter and joy for generations. Yet, beyond her professional achievements lies a story of profound humanity. Her decision to share her secret reflects a desire for authenticity, for connection, and for the recognition of the complex, often unseen realities of life. It is a reminder that even those who bring light into the lives of others are navigating their own shadows, and that courage can take many forms, from professional excellence to personal honesty. Vivian Vance's life, and the tragic circumstances of her passing, invite reflection on the delicate interplay between public success and private struggle. Her story demonstrates that beneath every smiling face, every celebrated performance, there is a human being shaped by joys, sorrows, and secrets. It also serves as a poignant reminder that life is fleeting, and that the moments we share, the truths we reveal, and the connections we nurture are what ultimately define us. In remembering Vivian, we honor not just her talent but the depth of her humanity, the courage she displayed, and the indelible impact she left on both her family and her fans. Vivian Vance's final days highlight the fragility of life and the profound impact of the choices we make in the moments that matter most. In revealing her secret to her husband, she demonstrated a level of trust and intimacy that few people experience. That she chose to be honest, even at the very end, speaks volumes about her character, her courage, her integrity, and her desire to be understood fully by the person she loved most. For Vivian, this was not merely a confession. It was a release, a way to lighten an emotional burden she had carried silently for years. The timing of her death, however, made that act all the more poignant, underscoring the unpredictable and often cruel nature of fate. Her husband, who had long stood by her side through the highs and lows of a public life, was left to process not only the grief of sudden loss, but also the weight of the revelation she had shared. In that one day, an entire story of hidden struggles, unspoken fears, and private truths came to light, and yet, she was gone before they could fully navigate it together. Friends and family, too, were confronted with a complex mix of emotions: shock, sorrow, admiration for her bravery, and heartbreak over the knowledge that her final moments were intertwined with both honesty and tragedy. It is a story that resonates beyond the boundaries of celebrity, touching on universal human experiences of love, trust, vulnerability, and the unpredictable nature of life. Vivian's secret, though private, offers insight into the woman behind the laughter. For decades, audiences saw her only as the effervescent, witty, and charming Ethel Mertz. They watched her bring joy to households across America, unaware of the